So this chapter is contract of indemnity, which is one of the most important chapters of the Indian Contract Act. So we'll start by discussing the definition of the indemnity, which comes under section 124. Section 124 of Indian Contract Act defines contract of indemnity as a contract where one party promises to serve the other party from the loss which might arise from the conduct of promisor himself or by the conduct of any other person. One of the illustrations are a promise to deliver certain goods to B for rupees 2000 every month, and here C comes in and promise to indemnify B's losses if A fails to deliver the goods. This is how B and C will enter into contractual obligation. Here there are three parties. Okay, so there is a contract between B and C. B is saying that I will indemnify you for any loss uh, which has occurred due to the conduct of A. So C will be known as the promisor to promise that he will indemnify against any loss done by A, and B will be called as indemnity holder. So one of the best example of indemnity is the contract of indemnity, which is contract of insurance. Contract of insurance is one of the most basic example of contract of indemnity, but life insurance does not come under this. So we will look at why. And there are essentials of contract of indemnity. There are four essentials, which are: first is the two parties, that is indemnifier and indemnified. Second, there shall be a contract or promise to compensate the loss. Third, express or implied. It can be expressed or implied. You can say that I will compensate for any loss which will occur due to my conduct, and it is um, expressed, or it can be implied also through my actions, that yeah, I will compensate you, and my actions will tell. And the fourth essential is that there shall be loss which should arise from the conduct of indemnifier or any other person. One of the most important case laws include Adamson versus Juris. It is one of the earliest case laws which happened in 1827. So the principle of indemnity originated in this case of Adamson versus Juris. In this case, the plaintiff, on the instructions of the defendant, sold the livestock to some person. Later on, it was realized that the defendant was not the real owner of the livestock, and the plaintiff had to pay damages for such loss. Plaintiff claimed indemnity from the defendant. The court held that the action of the plaintiff were according to the directions of the defendant. Therefore, the defendant will be liable to indemnify the plaintiff. Through this case, the concept of indemnity mainly arised. There are few rights which are granted to the indemnity holder. They are right to recover damages, right to recover costs, and right to recover sums paid under compromise. One of the most important case laws which I have cited here is the Gajanan Moreshwar versus Moreshwar Madan. It was held that in order to claim right of indemnity, the indemnity holder shall have bona fide intention, that is good faith, without any deceit or without any aim to defraud the indemnifier. However, right cannot be refuted in case of oversight. There are few duties also along with the rights, which are: it is the duty of the indemnity holder to act prudently, otherwise he or she shall not be indemnified for the loss caused by negligence of the indemnity holder. If the indemnity holder acts with intention of causing any loss or damage, the indemnifier shall not be liable for such loss. Thirdly, if the indemnity holder acts against the instruction of the other party or the promisor, the indemnifier shall not be liable for such damages as the indemnity holder goes beyond the instruction given by the indemnifier. There are few rights which are given to the indemnifier, but in the case of indemnity holder, their rights will be same as a principal debtor who has right in guarantee. So there are not any explicit right granted to him, but uh, in case of Jaswant Singh versus section of state, it was held that the indemnifier shall be entitled with all the securities of the indemnified in the same manner as the creditor is against its principal debtor, whether or not he is aware of the same. So it is written here. You can just read out the Jaswant Singh versus section of state case to make it more clear. And duties of the indemnifier. There are four duties. We'll look at it one by one. First is there must be laws in accordance with the contract to make indemnifier liable. There must be occurrence of the anticipated event. Without any occurrence of the prescribed event, there is no indemnity by the indemnifier. Where the right of indemnity is used by the indemnity holder prudently and the instruction of the indemnifier is contravened, or when there is no breach of contract, if the costs demanded by the indemnifier are not caused by the negligence, haphazard behavior. Misconception between contract of sorry confusion between contract of indemnity and contract of guarantee. So I would like to just clear out the differences here. First is there are only two parties, that is indemnity holder and indemnifier, but in contract of guarantee there are three parties: creditor, principal debtor, and surety. You already know that in contract of guarantee we have three parties. That is, the creditor is the person who C is the person who is creditor, and P is the person who is principal debtor, and S is the surety. So let's suppose in this case there is a contract of guarantee between um, among three of them. First is C. C is having a contract with S, and P is having a contract with C, saying that I will perform the act of S if S does not perform. P will perform the duties of S if S by default does not perform his duties or obligation, or if he does not give his uh, if he does not pay the money which he is required to pay to C, then um, P will be having secondary liability to C. Okay, so P is giving C guarantee of S, guarantee of for fulfillment of the duties of S by S or by P. Okay, so this is like that. So there is only one contract between indemnity and indemnifier. Sorry, between indemnity holder and indemnifier. But in the contract of guarantee, there are three subcontracts. That is between creditor and principal debtor, and between the principal debtor and surety, and um firstly between the creditor and surety. So the third point is there is only one absolute liability which rests with the indemnifier. There are two types of liability, that is primary and secondary, which rest with the principal debtor and the surety respectively. Once the indemnifier has paid the amount, he cannot recover the same. The surety can recover the amount from the principal debtor. So we'll look at one important case law later on after this slide. So we will look at the differences between the contract of indemnity, which is in India, and contract of indemnity, which is in England. So first difference is that Indian law only accepts the expressed contract of indemnity, and English law accepts both expressed and implied. But I would like to add a point here that in contract of indemnity is now accepted in Indian law also, which is implied. So implied and expressed are both are now accepted. But first, earlier it used to be like this, that the only expressed contract was uh, ac- um, acknowledged. So the third point is that in Indian law, cause of loss can only be via human agency and not otherwise. In English law, the cause of loss could be both human agencies as well as events and accident. Indian laws are silent about the enforceability of indemnity contract. In English law, enforceability depends upon the payment of losses. So I would like to state one case, which is Osman Jamal and Sons Limited versus Gopal Purushottam, the case of 1928, which is the first Indian case to provide indemnity. So provide some insight on the contract of indemnity. The facts of the case are as stated, that the plaintiff company was a commission agent for the defendant firm for buying and selling of some items, and defendant will also be indemnify in case of any loss. The plaintiff bought the items from one Malri Ram Jidas. So there is only one Malari Ramjidas. Defendant failed to make payment or take delivery of the same, and later Malari Ramjidas. So here is the correct spelling. This Malari Ramjidas, not Malari Ramjidas. Sold the same to another at a lesser price. Malari Ramjidas sued plaintiff for damages for the loss occurred. Plaintiff was winding up and asked the defendant to indemnify the same, to which the defendant refused to state that the plaintiff at the foremost and defaulted in making the payment, but the court held that the defendant was liable to indemnify the plaintiff. So it was held that the indemnity holder has right to recover all costs which he may be compelled to pay in any suit. So with this, I would like to end this session, and with one quote, that is, today is your opportunity to build the tomorrow you want. Thank you. Bye.